I follow John Stark very well. He's an 18-year enforcement SEC consultant now. He's calling for a sweep. Says that the SEC is going to sweep everybody, which is why I'm telling everyone, get out of these.
The digital exchanges, both the crypto exchanges and the DeFi exchanges, will have to register, and this entire Wild West environment will start to dissipate. It'll be like the meteorite that hit the Earth, 80 million years ago, and a lot of stuff will get wiped out.
There is no debate about regulations for cryptocurrencies. Every arm of the US government is moving swiftly to regulate the market. Michael Saylor, who's one of the most prominent Bitcoin maximalists in the world and also one of the biggest Bitcoin whales, reveals what is likely to happen to cryptocurrencies when regulations come into full force. It's worth listening to him as we anticipate the direction the crypto market is likely to take in 2023.
Crypto is like Bitcoin, except more energy efficient. That was the story a while ago. The stories now are, well, and you saw it when I was on CNBC, I said, well, BTC is not FTT. And every one of the anchors nodded and said, yeah, you got that right. It's pretty obvious why. So the meltdown of the crypto ecosystem is educating an entire generation of mainstream journalists, mainstream investors, mainstream regulators and policymakers, and they understand that now they have to do something, and the regulation that's going to come is going to stop the scams, it's going to stop the self-dealing, it's going to provide a framework by which people start to understand the difference between an ethical, economically sound, technically sound asset and a fair, equitable, principled approach versus an unethical, uneconomically sound, untechnically sound, unregistered security. So I think that that's a big part of what's going on right now. I think another big part of what's going on right now is the other side of this, which is investors in the mainstream are going to understand, based upon results, why a digital commodity is a better idea than a digital security. And that's happening in front of our face. I also think that regulators are going to have to move. They're going to move much faster. And as they move much faster, they're going to lay down expectations of the registration process to become a digital security, a digital currency, a digital exchange, especially those three. Those are going to be hot buttons. And as that happens, what you're going to see is that 98% of the stuff in the crypto ecosystem is going to shake out. There's going to be a few strong players that will go through the registration process, and they will grow up to be a registered, fully disclosed currency, like a Circle or a Tether, will have to become registered and regulated. There may be a few digital securities. There'll be a massive fight over what that means and what you can do with it. The digital exchanges, both the crypto exchanges and the DeFi exchanges, will have to register, and this entire Wild West environment will start to dissipate. It'll be like the meteorite that hit the Earth 80 million years ago, and a lot of stuff will get wiped out. A few things will rise out of the crypto ecosystem that'll be cleaned up, and then a lot more mainstream actors will enter this space. Mainstream investors, mainstream banks, mainstream financial providers, registered companies, and the entire industry will take on a new character.
Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC chairperson Gary Gensler, has on several occasions made it clear that Bitcoin is the only cryptocurrency he recognizes as a commodity. This means Bitcoin would not be required to undergo any registration with the Commission. It would also not be subject to the stringent laws that securities abide to. Being a commodity unshackles Bitcoin to be owned and traded more freely, but the same fate may not apply to other cryptocurrencies. Ethereum, which holds the second largest capitalization in the crypto market, may not enjoy the same fortune as Bitcoin. Since switching from the proof-of-work protocol to the proof-of-stake protocol, it's presented itself even more to be classified as a security, since the proof-of-stake protocol means that stakers of Ether would be getting dividends from the investment. Staking can be likened to the act of investing with a financial instrument for a dividend. If moving to the POS protocol puts Ethereum under the SEC radar, why did Vitalik and his team make the move? It was in an attempt to make Ethereum more environmentally friendly than Bitcoin. Bitcoin is still on the proof-of-work protocol, which requires an immense amount of power. Moving from the POW protocol to the POS network has cut the energy use of keeping Ethereum operational by 99%. This indeed is one of the reasons why many innovations are coming up in the crypto space. They're attempting to be better than Bitcoin, which has a lot of shortcomings. But it seems as these shortcomings are being addressed, the cryptocurrencies being created get into more problems. Michael Saylor acknowledges that there's need for these innovations, but since most crypto projects are poorly designed, they would be wiped out when regulations get enforced in the crypto market. If Bitcoin has a lot of legitimate issues that need to be ironed out, and other cryptocurrencies are failing to address these issues appropriately, what future does Bitcoin even have?
The crypto industry has some good ideas. One good idea is a digital commodity. The ability to move something of value point to point between 20 billion computers at the speed of light and program it with final settlement. That's a good idea. It has not nearly been fully realized. At the point when 8 billion people are swapping value back and forth, and at the point where millions, if not tens of millions of websites are swapping value back and forth at high frequency, and I mean like 100 times a second, 1,000 times a second, million times an hour, billion times an hour. When that happens, we'll have realized the potential of a digital commodity, because that is the true internet of money, money over IP. And Bitcoin is the first asset that could serve as a digital commodity, and Lightning is the first open protocol that we've seen, open, permissionless, ethical protocol that has the transaction speed to traffic digital commodity. And of course, as we know, a digital commodity is something of value that moves through space. A digital scarcity is even better than a digital commodity. A digital scarcity is an absolute capped commodity, 21 million forever, right? If Bitcoin had been built without the halving protocol, and it just kept adding 3 or 4% of the supply for the next 1,000 years, and it was otherwise distributed in an ethical fashion, it would be a digital commodity, but it wouldn't be a digital scarcity. In the absence of the real Bitcoin, it would be the best idea right now. But in the presence of the real Bitcoin in a market, the digital scarcity would actually get the majority of the money for long-term store of value, and the digital commodity would actually just be a short-term, convenient, maybe medium of exchange.
Bitcoin has a major problem, and it's the problem of scalability. If Bitcoin can't be scaled up, then it can't be a global medium of exchange. Right now, the Bitcoin network can only resolve 7 transactions per second, a number way too low when compared to mediums such as Visa Network that can transmit 1,700 transactions per second, and MasterCard, which can even make 5,000 transactions every second. This is why the Lightning Network was created as a layer over the Bitcoin chain, to make transactions more scalable. The Lightning Network has the capacity to handle 1,000 transactions per second. This is much better than global payment systems like PayPal, but still low compared to what banks use to transmit money. Unfortunately, the Lightning Network hasn't worked as effectively as the white paper proposed. It's bugged with a lot of issues, and this continues to plague the functionality of Bitcoin in the real world. While Bitcoin maintains a high level of integrity that no other cryptocurrency can boast of, it still has a lot of technological and practical issues that need to be addressed if it's to attain its potential. Regulations would wipe a lot of cryptocurrencies out, but there would still be a need for many cryptocurrencies to solve the problems that Bitcoin hasn't solved effectively. It's still important to beware of the avalanche that would follow when the SEC starts swooping up cryptocurrencies that don't meet its regulatory guidelines. But if you want to make good investment decisions in 2023, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you're hoping for great returns on your investments.